How quickly can you accelerate the inoculations to make sure that growth doesn't suffer too much?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the invitation. Well, we all have to try to improve the speed of vaccination. I think we have to admit that on the European level, not all things have been perfect when negotiating the contract with pharmaceutical companies. But also on national levels, there's still room for improvement. In Austria, we are speeding up the vaccination program. More and more people are getting their jabs. And this will definitely contribute to a better growth in 2021. And I hope that we will have overcome the pandemic by summer. That would be the most important thing for the economy.
Minister, I know that over in the fall, you actually put a cap on how much could be spent on these vaccines. Have you now removed that cap? And are you willing to spend whatever it takes to make sure that people are vaccinated to have the right access to the vaccines?
Well, that's simply not true. We have no cap on vaccination costs. Already last year, we have budgeted more. We never had a cap. It was always said that as much money there is necessary for purchasing vaccination, this money will be supplied. This year, just for this year, 120 million have been in the budget of the Minister for Health, 120 million euros, and until now only 30 million euros have been called. And if there is more need for money to buy more doses, then there will be more money. We have a pot where we can supply money for COVID-related health costs, and approximately 500 million euros are still within this pot for this year. So there is enough money for vaccination doses. What is important is that on the European level, everybody sticks to what was agreed between the head of states.
Why? You know, it looks like countries that were successful said, we'll pay whatever the price is. Give us the doses first. We'll talk about how much it costs later because, you know, millions of human lives are at stake. Was that not the EU's strategy when it came to getting vaccines? Or what happened in the EU that the ball was dropped?
I think the general idea of the President of the Commission was a good one, to jointly negotiate contracts with pharmaceutical companies. I think the general approach was in order. The negotiations itself seemed to have had a turn where Europe had a result of less vaccinations than other countries. Obviously, there was room for improvement, but the general approach is to be appreciated.
Why doesn't Europe spend more money now in order to dig itself out of this hole, Mr. Minister? I mean, have you submitted a draft EU recovery fund plan to the EC?
The draft recovery plan will be submitted by April. We are already in negotiations with the Commission, which projects can be implemented within this recovery plan. But this has nothing to do with the vaccination program. If you refer to the vaccination program, we are totally willing to spend more money on that because
Mr. Minister, can I just ask, so many people have lost jobs, so many people are unemployed across Europe, the big dip in demand is palpable. Why wait until April? I mean, shouldn't it have been done last April?
Well, first of all, the money from the recovery fund isn't flowing until the end of the year, I would guess. What we are doing on a national level is spending much more, much faster. Austria has the biggest fiscal spending program in all over European Union. We just had our Standard & Poor's rating with a AA+ stable outlook, where we were confirmed to have reacted swiftly and accordingly to the crisis. And we are spending a lot of money for short-term working scheme much earlier than other countries in Europe did. And we're spending much more in helping companies by direct payments to get through this crisis, because we know that as soon as the crisis is over, our economy will boost back. And therefore, we want to have a healthy company structure to ensure growth again.
Minister, some of the rules the fiscal rules have been suspended because of COVID-19 within the EU member states. How long do they have to be suspended for?
First of all, not all the fiscal rules have been suspended. I was demanding from the Commission to also give more flexibility to the state aid rules, because that is what we needed last year and that is what we still need this year. For the biggest part of the last year, Austria was the only country to demand such a flexibilization, to be able to give more money to the companies. And at the beginning of this year, it was granted. So it took a really, really long time to be able to give as much money to the companies in Austria as they need to get through this crisis. That was, right, from my point of view, a too long process. The Stability and Growth Pact itself is a good one. It ensured stability and growth over the last decades. And if we keep it up after the pandemic, it will ensure this again.
Minister, I know you're under investigation in Austria for donations to your party in possible exchange for favors, allegedly. What can you update us on that?
Well, those allegations are false. Everybody knows that, and therefore the charges will be dropped.
I mean, if everybody knows that, they wouldn't be continuing to probe this issue. And really, corruption has been a bigger problem in Austria and Italy, it looks like, than back here in Germany. Why do you think that is?
I don't agree on what you say. If you refer to the problems that Germany has, for example, with frauds in giving out COVID aids to companies compared to Austria, there seems to be a bigger problem. So within the last year, we have set up all the different measures to help our companies in a very decent way, and it functions in Austria well.